Check this out from More Perfect Union. All right, hold on. After threatening to strike, grocery workers in Southern California have ratified a new contract with Kroger and Albertsons. Workers won $4.25 raise over 3 years. The companies originally offered just $1.80. Oh, hell yeah. Unified and militant. Grocery workers get double-digit pay raises and new contracts. Whipsawed by the pandemic, spurred by fury over wage stagnation, and alarmed by inflation, Southern California's unionized grocery workers gained their biggest pay raises in decades Thursday as they ratified a new contract with the region's largest food chain. The 3-year contract's overwhelming approval by 87% followed strike authorization votes 2 weeks earlier by union locals. Ralph's, Albertsons, Vons, and Pavilion stores from San Diego to San Luis Obispo. After 4 months of bargaining, Kroger, the parent company of Ralph Albertsons, which owns Pavilions and Vons, agreed to raises of 19 to 31% over current pay levels for most workers. Part-time employees were guaranteed 28 hours weekly, up from 24. The companies were afraid of a strike. Our members were more unified and militant than they've been in a long time. Ralph said the company was pleased with the agreement, and Albertson called it fair and equitable. Neither company elaborated on the reasons behind the large pay boost, more than 2.5 times what the change originally proposed. Fucking base, dude. I'm sorry, I turned on like fucking this website. I turned on like JavaScript blocker before because it was so cancer. Across California and the nation, a pandemic-driven labor shortage has made it hard to retain and hire staff. Workers are quitting for higher-paying jobs, and older employees fearing infection are retiring in droves. Fucking base, dude. There's more SoCal Stayer bros.
Southland grocery workers are speaking out after reaching a tentative new contract. Union members from Ralph's, Albertsons, Vons, and Pavilions voted on the deal in Buena Park today, with final results expected on Thursday. The group of roughly 60,000 was seeking higher wages, improved health benefits, and a secured pension, among other things. The agreement feels like a win for the union.
The wages the companies have offered us are a huge increase over what we received in the past, something that's probably long overdue since the strike in '03. Yeah, everything's good, and hopefully most of our membership will be happy that we got a nice wage increase and we kept everything else that we had.
6 United Food and Commercial Workers locals representing Stater Brothers employees ratified their new 3-year contract on April the 1st.
There you go. That's trade unionism, chat. That's trade unionism right there. This is the best contract for the employees in 20 years, but also for the company, said Burke Lickinger. We have the most acute worker shortage since World War II. Higher wages and benefits are an investment in worker loyalty and productivity. In 25 years, union membership in Southern California's grocery industry has dropped from 90 to 35% as non-union big box stores expanded into food. The new UFCW contract will help counter non-union competition. Walmart and Target are running out of stocks in key categories because they don't have enough workers at stores or warehouses. The high cost of living in Southern California, this contract could bring back experienced workers to union stores, people who retired early because of COVID and now can't pay their bills. They ended up agreeing to $4.25, raising those wages to $26.75 an hour. $26.75 an hour. After a group, including lower paid deli workers and shelf stockers, will get a $5.25 boost over 3 years, raising their wages to $22.27 an hour. Workers will progress to top wage tiers at a faster rate, and medical benefits will expand. The bottom third of the workforce, baggers and clerks helpers, will get a 95-cent raise to $16.34 an hour. The wage hikes for top-paid workers also apply to Food for Less, a Kroger-owned chain with 62,000 workers whose contract last year was tied to expected raises at Ralph's. Grocery workers and their union scored a big win, said Occidental College politics professor Peter Dreyer, co-author of a recent report of the nonprofit Economic Roundtable on Kroger. Polls showed the public was sympathetic to essential workers who suffered hardships during the pandemic, and that companies would have lost a lot of business in the event of a strike. When the that 22% decline in pay worsened as the company switched more workers to part-time. Even if we had gotten $5 up front, that wouldn't catch us up to the curve of inflation over the last 20 years, he said. His current wage is $24.78 an hour, along with his wife's pay as a clerical worker, isn't enough for the family to move out of their 2-bedroom apartment and buy a home. He fears inflation is going to keep going. One reason he voted against ratifying the contract. If low wages and inflation worries fueled grocery workers' militancy, the pandemic turbocharged their anger. Of the 20,000 grocery workers represented by UFCW Local 770 in Los Angeles, 70,730 were reported to have caught the coronavirus. Jesus. After the pandemic, we had a chance to stand up and say to the companies, you guys owe us big and we're trying to collect now. Manning applauded provisions in the new contract to prevent forced overtime and establish health and safety committees in every store. With the extra $5.25 an hour over the next 3 years, she said she will be able to pay bills, afford higher gas prices, and send her daughter to the YMCA for after-school care. Hey, dude. So no forced overtime, health and safety committees. Like, that is the thing that a union provides. It's not just that they get paid way more. It's also that they get control in the workplace. Incredible. Entire reports are being automated? No fucking chance. No shot. No shot. People always believe automation is like way more powerful than it is. Sorry, we're gonna watch the Tucker Carlson Amazon Chris Smalls guy. You know, one of the thing. Here's the thing. I'm gonna say this. I'm really happy that the Amazon labor union won in Staten Island, but I think it's a major mistake to make it about one fucking guy. As an automation engineer, you are right, of course.
The worker. She's like a modern wobbly. She's the Walter Reuther of our day. And that's why last year she had to stand alongside striking workers at Amazon's Staten Island warehouse. And we're for that because they need the help. But at the last minute, Cindy Cortez bailed on the whole thing. And that infuriated labor organizers who just won a big vote to unionize the Staten Island facility. Now, Amazon is stepping up its effort to crush the union. Amazon has just banned words like union on its employee chat app. Christian Smalls is a union leader at Amazon, and we're happy to have him join us now. Christian, thanks so much for coming on. Were you surprised that Sandy Cortez, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who has said repeatedly that she's on the side of the worker against the corporation, wasn't standing with you at the barricades?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it wasn't just her. It was all of them pretty much. You know, it's not
fair.
You know, I don't want it to make it just between us and AOC because, you know, a lot of them didn't show up. And, you know, once again, we have no ill will against them. We know that whether they showed up or not, they didn't make or break our election. We just had to continue to organize.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird moment because, I mean, I'm on the right. I've never been particularly pro-union, but it does seem like...
No shit. So why is this not pro-union guy suddenly talking about unions? Why is he elevating this? Because he's trying to attack the people that actually represent that politics. And just to defend AOC, because, God damn it, this is ridiculous. She went to Buffalo and helped Starbucks workers. She expressed support for the Amazon union. All right. They had some event that she canceled because concerns about death threats that she was getting. But in no way was she opposed to this fucking movement. It's so cringe and embarrassing. Economic populist, by the way. Of course he's not an economic populist. He's a fucking trust fund baby.
Amazon needs some counterbalance. Like, it's this huge company. The workers have no power, and maybe we could, I don't know, share a little power with the people who work there. So that's my view anyway. So tell us where you are in your organizing efforts.
Do you see how right-wing ringers cannot defend against economic leftism and trade unionism? You can't make a popular argument against unions. And this is one of the best ways to attack. This is what we've been saying for years. The best way to attack the right is through economic populism, through trade unionism, through things like the minimum wage increases. What are they going to do? Say, no, you fucking stupid, you carpenter, you shouldn't have any say? What? Even Tucker is having to pretend like he likes unions now.
Well, right now, you know, we're fighting for a contract. You know, Amazon's disputing their election results. So we're in walking and chewing bubble gum at the same time. We're fighting for a contract. We're preparing for another election in 2 weeks on April 25th. We're going to be voting at a second location directly across the building that we just unionized. So we're in the thick of a fight right now, you know, a legal battle. And, you know, we just have to stay grounded and pretty much begin our campaign all over again.
I mean, you'd think that Amazon would be open to a union, wouldn't you? That Amazon would be open to a union, wouldn't you? It's a very progressive company. Why do you think they're trying?
What? Absolutely incredibly smallest brain, dumber motherfuckers in the planet. Imagine thinking Amazon is progressive. Why? Because they want to sell pride flags on the website. That makes them progressive. They're capitalists. They want the dollar. They have no value. Let's send a bullet. They would sell bullets, and they did, to Hitler. They don't give a shit. And Chris shook his head, by the way, which is
trying to thwart you from organizing.
Amazon hasn't been unionized in this country since the beginning of its existence, and they're very anti-union. You know, they created a system that hires and fires people. They created a system that they have full control of the working people. And you know, having a union obviously brings representation for the workers that'll benefit the workers at the bottom, like myself, hourly associates, entry-level workers that don't get the right to negotiate. So forming a union gives us the right to collective bargain with the company, form a contract to protect ourselves. So that's exactly what we're trying to do with the Amazon Labor Union. We're hoping that we'll be a catalyst for something that'll take place nationwide.
We need to give control of the economy back to people from the big multinational corporations. It's the only way to stop their socialist agenda. That is unironically what Tucker Carlson is trying to say. Incredibly small brain. Smooth.
Well, I certainly am rooting for you. I mean, maybe if they throw some more woke slogans at you, you'll forget you can't feed your family.
Right.
Chris, I appreciate your coming on. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
By the way, chat, you can see the fucking plan. They would love someone like Kamala Harris to be the presidential nominee. That's like playing directly into conservative hands. A worthless PMC, professional managerial class lawyer with no roots in the working class, spouting slogans about, and that's it. Chris did, that was good. Chris did well. He didn't fall into the traps, but he went on to I mean, still, I think that's fucking worthless, honestly. I don't think that helps Amazon labor at all. I think that's fucking worthless, but I think he did a good job. It's debate perverts. Now get with it. Oh my God, that's right. Did Hasan coin the debate pervert? Was that a Hasan thing? Is the debate pervert a Hasan thing or a chatter did? Was that yesterday? Because I was watching the stream and someone said debate pervert. Okay, yeah, I was there. I was there in debate pervert when debate pervert was coined. We need a debate pervert emote. We need a debate pervert emote because that's the perfect way to describe it. Because every single one of those debate bros, you know what they love debating? Age of consent, incest. They're all perverts. It comes with the territory. They're all debate perverts. It's incredible. I felt like the chatter was ESL and it led to a great new term. I mean, it's obviously right. Oh, it's abebophilia, not pedophilia. They're literally debating that as we speak. The debate perverts are literally debating the line of pedophilia versus abebophilia right now. Incredible. Incredible. Debate perverts and drama groomers. Absolutely. Absolutely. Literally a Pepe Le D tweet from 3 days ago. Is that true? I was just kidding. I was kidding. Are you shitting me? I was kidding. Oh, no shot. That's incredible. They had a panel on necrophilia. Incredible. Hold on. Somebody was a legend? Or hold on, let me take a look at this. I feel like you trying to step away from the drama baiting has galvanized these debate perverts even more. Legendary. Big Blake 5, legendary.
So your only argument is that it's gross? I've morally confounded you. But you don't have any rational arguments?
Actually, there's a lot of rational arguments for those things. But if you're a sociopath, those rational arguments don't matter to you. So we're not going to debate those issues right now because sociopaths don't value other people's emotional states and happiness. So when you're like, well, we should ban this because X, Y, and Z, they're like,
that doesn't apply to the person or me, so why should I care?
There's literally not a day where I haven't gotten a laugh while watching Hasan's stream. Truly, it's a good stream. Anonymous Gifter, thank you for gifting a sub to Big Blake 5.
Conversations. We genuinely care about the world around us. We want to make it a better place. We want to leave the world better.
This is the tweet. Sorry. Pedophile refers to people with attraction. Yeah, chat. I would probably want to ban someone off my platform if they were like a 30-year-old plus adult talking about how dating and being attracted to teenagers, underage teenagers, is not pedophilia. Wow. My goodness gracious. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. And this is the story I wanted to start with. Some pushback from colleagues I've never seen a chatter say something that is more circumspect than the headline of a major news article, chat. Look at this article. Sam Jack says, Mike, Diane Feinstein is getting some pushback from colleagues, so I click it, and it says, worried Diane Feinstein is now mentally unfit to serve? Oh my God. Wow. I think a pushback is a little bit of a light term. So let's get this in. This is fucking crazy. I mean, if you're her family, you have an obligation to protect her legacy. I mean, she's Diane Feinstein, so she's a goddamn joke. But if I'm a Diane Feinstein relative, I think that I don't want her to go down in history as a laughingstock and a geriatric. I would want her to be remembered for, I don't know, announcing Harvey Milk's death. What else did she do? Nothing. Diane Feinstein was born the same year as my grandfather, who died 10 years ago after suffering with dementia for 9 years. Yeah, she's 90 fucking years old. When a California Democrat in Congress recently engaged in an extended conversation with Senator Diane Feinstein, they prepared for a rigorous policy discussion like those they'd had with her many times over the last 15 years. Instead, the lawmaker said they had to reintroduce themselves to Feinstein multiple times during an interaction that lasted several hours. Rather than delve into policy, Feinstein, 88, repeated the same small talk questions, like asking the lawmaker what mattered to voters in their district, they said. With no apparent recognition, the two had already had a similar conversation. Holy fucking hell, this is incredible. This is insane, dude. I mean, get her out! Remove her from office! The Democrats, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Colleagues worried Diane Feinstein is now mentally unfit to serve. Obviously. Now do is one of the most consistently obnoxious responses on Twitter. So true. So true. Yeah, Paul Gosar is also mentally unfit. Who gives a fuck? We're talking about Diane Feinstein right now. The average age of the Senate is 64.3 years, the oldest in history. Chat. Boomers, please retire. Go sit at the villages, ride around in golf carts, play golf. You are the most pampered generation in history. Please, just go away. My God. I really like my family, you know, is cool. The boomers in my family are pretty cool, but my God, every boomer, I mean, no offense to the boomers in the audience, but like, you know, you grew up in the easiest generation, right? You understand that, right? Like, being a boomer, it was the easiest generation in American history. Just please retire. Spend some time with your grandkids. I know you hate them and you want them to pay student debt for the rest of their lives, but eventually you're gonna die. My boomer family members are very typical of their generation. That sucks. Mine aren't, but still. They also, like, are not, they don't want to retire. And I'm like, I have boomer family members that are getting into their 70s now. And I'm like, they're not retired. And I'm like, you gotta retire. You gotta retire. And I had a conversation with one of them and I was like, you're going to retire in the next few years. You got to enjoy life. Like, what are you doing? What are you fucking doing? Gen X is the Vichy generation. So true. So true. They all think they are going to live forever. I get boomer probate cases all the time that have no will, etc. Big messes. Well, that's why we have intestate laws, Dennis. So if you die intestate, we have rules for how it works. The rules are mostly pretty fair. My boomer dad took a whole new job at Succeed. He could work for 10 years and get a pension. He still has like 3 to 5 years to go. I mean, in that case, it would make sense for him, but Jesus Christ. All right, let's read this article. Holy fuck. I've worked for her for a long time, enough to know that she was just like a few years ago, always in command, always in charge, on top of the details, basically couldn't resist a conversation where she was driving some bill or some idea. All of that is gone. She was an intellectual and political force not that long ago, and that's why my encounter with her was so jarring, because there was no trace of that. 4 U.S. senators, including 3 Democrats, as well as 3 former Feinstein staffers, and a California Democratic member of Congress, told the Chronicle that her memory is rapidly deteriorating. They said it appears she can no longer fulfill her job duties without her staff doing much of the work required to represent the nearly 40 million people of California. This is the thing that's fucking disgusting. California has 2 senators, and one of them is just pixie dust. She doesn't exist. I've wanted her to retire for a long time, chat, because I think her brain has been rotten. I want to show you a video of Diane Feinstein that will truly make you hate her guts.
Go in and share this letter, and we're going to do it all together. Yeah. Share it in front of Feinstein. We're asking her to vote yes on the Green New Deal.
We are trying to ask you to vote yes on the Green New Deal.
Please.
Okay, I'll tell you what. We have our own Green New Deal.
Some scientists have said that we have 12 years to turn this around.
Well, it's not going to get turned around in 10 years. What we can do,
Senator, if this doesn't get turned around in 10 years, you're looking at the faces of the people who are going to be living with these consequences.
The government is supposed to be for the people and by the people and all for the people.
You know what's interesting about this group is I've been doing this for 30 years. I know what I'm doing. You come in here and you say it has to be my way or the highway. I don't respond to that. I've gotten elected. I just ran. I was elected by almost 1 million vote plurality. And I know what I'm doing. So, you know, maybe people should listen a little bit.
I hear what you're saying, but we're the people who voted you. You're supposed to listen to us. That's your,
How old are you?
job.
How old
I'm
are
16.
You?
I
well,
can't
you didn't vote for me.
Well, I'm 24.
Can you imagine being more unlikable? Instead of going to her constituents and being like, listen, I understand that Bernie Sanders has put out an exciting Green New Deal, but I don't want to get your hopes up. I don't think we can get it done. But here's what we will do, and here's how it will prevent climate change. The Democrats can't even do that basic shit. They can't even lie convincingly. Honest to God, this is the best person to be a representative of the state of California. This person, this decrepit scarecrow of skin. Remember when she flew a Confederate flag as mayor of San Francisco? Yes, I do remember. I will never forget it. It's true. As San Francisco mayor, Diane Feinstein did repeatedly fly a Confederate flag in front of City Hall. And California was famously a free state. It's why it's one big state, because America had this is something you learn in history. And if you're not an American, you might not know this. But for most of America's early history, we had free states and we had slave states. And in the eastern colonies, the division between those states was something called the Mason-Dixon line, which is the border of Maryland and Pennsylvania, okay, basically. So if you were north of the Mason-Dixon, you were a free state. If you were south of the Mason-Dixon, you were a slave state. And as states entered the Union, they typically would enter in pairs, one free state and one slave state, to try to keep it balanced, because the slave states had a far smaller population of free voting citizens. So they would have a minority in the House of Representatives, but they maintained parity in the Senate. Basically, a undemocratic majority controlled the country's politics from the United States Senate in favor of supporting slavery. When California was admitted as a state, it was a free state. And so it had to be admitted with a corresponding slave state. Similarly with Texas. Why are Texas and California so large? Texas and California are so large not because of some sort of coherent political identity that they all cleaved so closely to. It's because they were trying to balance free and slave states. So the legacy of segregation and slavery continues to exist. And our representative of California, the largest state in America, one of the largest economies in the world, is a person who doesn't have 5 years left in their life. Insane!
We're the ones going to be impacted.
Something.
It doesn't matter. We're going to be the ones who are impacted.
I understand that. I have 7 grandchildren. I understand it very well.
Senator, the cost of not taking this action is far higher than the cost of what the Green New Deal will be. And there is enormous popularity for this bill around the whole country.
Especially in California, which, by the way, Chad, in case you didn't know, Bernie Sanders won. Bernie Sanders won California. How is it that its senators are against the presidential candidate that won their state? How is that? How is that?
We're asking you to be brave and do this for us and for your grandchildren.
Get enough for everyone. I'm trying to do the best I can, which was to write a responsible resolution.
Any plan that doesn't take bold, transformative action is not going to be what we need.
Well, you know better than I do. So I think one day you should run for the Senate.
Great,
and then you do it your way.
But by that time,
in the meantime,
there's going to be a big problem.
Well, see, the thing is, you can't run for Senate until you're 30 years old. That girl who's 16 doesn't have enough time left. We'll have catastrophic climate change locked in by the time she can run. Think about that. Think about that. That shit.
Won a big election.
And that was when she was coherent, Chad. That was when her brain was working. They said that the memory lapses do not appear to be constant and that some days she is nearly sharp as she used to be. During the March confirmation hearing for soon-to-be Supreme Court Justice, okay, so she is, okay, so whatever. Feinstein appeared composed as she read pertinent questions, though she repeated comments to Jackson about the judge's composure in the face of tough questioning. But some close to her said that on her most difficult days, she does not even seem to fully recognize even longtime colleagues. You gotta get her out. You gotta get her out of office. You gotta get her out of office. It's bad and it's getting worse, said one Democratic senator. This person said that within the Senate, Feinstein has difficulty keeping up with conversations and discussion. There's a joke on the Hill. We've got a great junior senator in Alex Padilla and an experienced staff in Feinstein's office, said a staffer for a California Democrat. All those who expressed concerns about Feinstein's acuity said that doing so is painful because of their respect for the senator and her groundbreaking career. So in other words, let me translate this from politicianese for all of you in the audience, if you don't understand what's going on here. These people have gone to family members, friends, colleagues, staffers of Diane Feinstein and said, please, for the love of God, can she retire? She's humiliating herself on the Hill, and we don't feel like she could do her job. And she's a threat to the Democratic Party, and she is a disaster. And she's humiliating herself on a daily basis. That's what that's the translation for, in case you want to know. And it failed. It failed. So now they're going to the press. Hey, Mike, remember when she leaked confidential information on the Night Stalker serial killer, allowing Richard Ramirez to destroy evidence to continue to kill for a while afterwards? Oh, I didn't even know about that. Pelosi protecting her because she has early... Pelosi and Diane Feinstein are the same person. Diane Feinstein and Nancy Pelosi are the same person. They've led the Democratic Party into utter ruin. Somebody in chat earlier said she was one of those people that formulated what's known as triangulation theory, which is where politics, where you try to get as far away from your base and as close to the opposition base as possible on policy in order to win. Absolute dumbassery. I guess now would be a good time to say that when I asked Diane Feinstein about if she thought it was a problem that there were no black women in the Senate or Judiciary Committee, she said, I don't perceive a problem. I brought it up in response to Ketanji Brown Jackson's hearings. When I asked if there was a problem, there were no black women senators. She said, well, that's it. As the numbers increase, this will happen. I really believe there will be minority people on the committee. Anytime I tweet about Feinstein, how many reporters consider it bad form to ask her questions, people bring up Chuck Grassley. Grassley is still sharp. He's a hardcore partisan warrior, but he has his faculties. Pelosi still strikes fear in the hearts of Democrats. When you say they, it's obvious. The doters, the Democratic Party machine. God damn it. Are you fucking this? It's incredible that people are this stupid. He spoke to the Chronicle before Feinstein's husband, financier Richard Blum, who had been very ill health as he battled cancer, died. He said they were also sensitive to what Feinstein was going through. Former staff members who spoke with the Chronicle requested anonymity, in part out of respect for Feinstein and because of restrictions imposed by their current jobs. The Chronicle agreed to protect each of these people's anonymity in accordance with the newspaper's policy on confidential sources due to the importance of Feinstein's ability to govern. In a statement provided to the Chronicle on March 28th, Feinstein said she's still performing her job well. She declined to be interviewed. Are you fucking kidding me? One of her major local newspapers says, hey, we have a story here of anonymous senators saying that you're demented. Would you like to comment? No, thank you. I will not accept an interview. The last year has been extremely painful and distracting for me, flying back and forth to visit my dying husband, who passed just a few weeks ago. You're gonna die too! Spend some time! Go through the old photo books. Invite the grandkids over and the great-grandkids. Share your secret recipes. Get all your fucking safe deposit boxes back. It's time for you to prepare for the end. Jesus Christ. This isn't even retirement. This is you're about to go into a coffin. Say goodbye. Impart some wisdom. Express yourself. Write a fucking poem. Anything. Write your epitaph. There's no question I'm still serving, delivering for the people of California. I'll put my record up against anyone's. This is not how she talked, by the way. No, for real. Why would you want to spend your last years on the planet watching these? She's too old to even to engage in debauch. She can't even go to a coke orgy with Madison Cawthorn anymore. Like, come on, man. Like, God, Jesus. What are you doing this for? No one respects you. You're too old and decrepit. They're looking at you. They're measuring they're measuring drapes in your office. Coke would blow her heart out of her paper-thin chest. Yes. Other lawmakers defended Feinstein's abilities in on-the-record interviews. Everybody who does this should be voted out of office. This is an impeachable offense. I'm not kidding. She's older than the Golden Gate Bridge. Jesus Christ. The Golden Gate Bridge was opened on May 27, 1937. Is she really older than that? Is she really older than the Golden Gate Bridge? Oh my God, she is. My God, she's old. Other lawmakers defend. Okay, anyway, in committee hearings, votes as needed and oversees an office that is still a strong player on legislation and constituent services. All this is her chief of staff. Just make her chief of staff a senator then. Jesus. Virginia Senator Tim Kaine volunteered that after a recent snowstorm caused a traffic backup that resulted in him being stuck in his car for 27 hours, meeting to D.C. Pepe La, you fucking... Who are you? Oh, yeah, you were the vice president of Hillary Clinton. That's another genius political move. Can you think about all the young people that were fired up by Tim Kaine? Absolutely incredible! Hillary Clinton picked Tim Kaine! To lead the party, man. She tried to make him the heir apparent to the Democratic Party. Tim Kaine. One of the funniest things that's ever been said was this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 10 things you need to do. Number 1. You register to vote and it's on. You post that Hillary sign up on your lawn. Number 2. Call some.
By the way, you couldn't get a Hillary sign. I just want to let you know. In Pennsylvania, this is a true fact. I'm sorry, I have to stop this just to tell you how bad their campaign was. You couldn't get a Hillary Clinton sign. They'd be like, buy it. She had billions of dollars. Meanwhile, Trump had random rallies on the side of roads where people would be like standing, waving Trump signs. And if you lowered your window, hey, can I get a Trump sign? They put it in your fucking trunk. There were Trump signs across Pennsylvania like mushrooms. They're like, oh, give Hillary Clinton $20 if you want Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton signs were outnumbered like 50-1 in Pennsylvania.
Undecideds with your crew. Your cousins in Ohio, maybe try and flip them blue. Number 3. Watch Hillary examine the terrain. Watch a campaign with the man Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine in the membrane. Tim Kaine in the brain. Number 4.
Hillary makes each decision, looking at the world from a rarefied position. A public servant with tenacity, agility.
Rarefied position. Oh, really? What position was that? That has to be some sort of genetic position or some sort of nobility because she held no office at that point. What was her rarefied position exactly? Also, Hillary Clinton is largely touted as being the person who made Ohio not a swing state. Ohio used to be one of the major swing states, but because of Hillary Clinton, she was so fundamentally unpopular and discredited Democrats in Ohio so completely that it's now not even a swing state. It's a permanently Republican state now. She got absolutely annihilated. I mean, like, Obama won in 2012. Like, Obama won in 2012. It was a Democratic state, and he won by quite a bit, too. It was a close election, but he had an outright majority. Hillary Clinton, just absolutely ridiculous. Although Trump did get more votes than Obama. That's incredible. I didn't know that in Ohio. She lost so badly. Holy fucking hell. 500,000 vote drop. 500,000 vote drop from Obama. Amazing. Anyway.
Experience is not a liability. 5. Now we all know this is the time when the other side tries to fly low, we go high. We know that our Hillary's no quitter. We watch as her opponent sits and fiddles with his Twitter. 7. Confession time, all in a burst. I want to vote the candidate puts our kids first.
November 8.
Your last chance to participate. To your polling place, vote up in your home state. And it's down to the nitty gritty. 3 weeks to go. Are you ready, New York City? Yes, in a world gone berserk.
Hillary rolls up his sleeves and goes to work.
I have only one overwhelming feeling. Anybody here want to shatter a glass ceiling? 9. Look them in the eye, clear your throat. Summon all the time you can devote. Then count.
You know, chat, I gotta tell you, Mike, I will give you money to stop. Thank you for the money. I stopped because you gave me money. I have to say that Hillary Clinton losing fucking rules. You know what? I now officially, in hindsight, I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it happened. Can you imagine the hell world we'd be in if she had won? She would have fucking gotten destroyed. They would have filibustered all her Supreme Court nominees. They would have ate shit. She would have lost. She would have been so unpopular. Democrats would have fucking lost California or something. Virginia Senator Tim Kaine volunteered that after a recent snowstorm, Diane Feinstein handwrote him a letter expressing how sorry she was for what he had experienced. Ace Lewin, thanks for the 5 tier 1s. And Fairy King, thanks for subscribing to tier 1 for 32 months. Hell yeah. Some of these people bristle at singling out Feinstein. And congressional history is filled with aging male politicians who remained in office despite their declining state. That was also bad! Let women be demented too! What? This is true liberal id poll right here. This is true liberal id poll. We'd be in year 6 of getting nothing. There's no way she would have won re-election. Hillary Clinton would have been annihilated and Hitler's zombified corpse would be president right now. She hand wrote Tim Kaine a letter. Yeah, she definitely did that. Does he have the letter? Does he show them the letter? Libs have weaponized id poll against the left better than Republicans ever could. No, Republicans are the best id poll party in the world. Falcone, thank you for the gifted subs. I mean, this is like better than it's like they are the top bid poll. Who reads their acceptance speech 4 years after losing? One of the biggest losers of all time. Did we already watch Channel 5? Nah. Padilla has known Feinstein since the mid-90s when he worked for her briefly. I've heard some of the same concerns, but as someone who sees her multiple times a week, I can tell you she's still doing the job, doing well. You fucking coward. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said she had not noticed a decline in Feinstein's memory and noted her work on the recent reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act and the Supreme Court confirmation. Her staff did all that. Senator Feinstein is a workhorse for the people of California and a respected leader among her colleagues in the Senate. If Senator Feinstein was a workhorse, she'd literally be at the glue factory. She'd literally be at the glue factory. She is constantly traveling between California and the Capitol. It's not good for an elderly person to be taking long flights. There's chances of blood clots and strokes. And those are the type of conditions that you need immediate medical attention. And it takes 20 minutes to a half hour minimum to divert a flight. Elderly people this old should not be taking transcontinental flights multiple times a year for a job. At the glue factory, she would already be holding something together as glue. True. Good point. Pelosi said it was unconscionable that just weeks after losing her beloved husband of more than 4 decades and after decades of outstanding leadership, she's being subjected to these ridiculous attacks that are beneath the dignity in which she has led and esteem in which she is held. I don't care if her husband just died. If she's fucking demented, she's fucking demented. Who cares if it makes you feel bad? Is it true or not? Is it true or not? Why hasn't the lead poisoning killed them by now? Lead poisoning doesn't typically kill you. It just causes you to have brain damage. The only flight unless you have like really severe acute lead poisoning, the only flight she needs to take is down some stairs. Jesus Christ. You mean in one of those like chairs? This is the flight upstairs she needs to fly down? That's the trip down the stairs, dude. Well, the new details about Feinstein's condition raise questions about where the line should be drawn in a legislative body with no age or term limit. Other than resignation, death, or the end of the term, there is only one way to remove senators from office, a 2/3 vote of their peers. The Senate has expelled 15 members since 1789, 1 for treason and 14 for supporting the Confederacy during the Civil War. A handful of other expulsions have been explored, usually for corruption, but in each case, the lawmaker left office before a vote. Adding urgency to the recent concerns, if Democrats retain control of the Senate next year, Feinstein will succeed retiring Vermont Senator Patrick Leahy as the Senate's pro tempore, putting her third in line for the presidency. Feinstein has filed paperwork with the Federal Election Commission that would allow her to run in 2024, a formality that lets her keep her fundraising accounts active, though she has not yet declared whether she intends to run. Still, there's a sense of resignation about the situation among sadness and frustration. The Chronicle found its discussions about how to persuade Feinstein to step aside have yet to produce any results. It shouldn't end this way for her. She deserves better, said the California Democratic member of Congress. Those who think that they are serving her or honoring her by sweeping all this under the rug are doing her an enormous disservice. It's too late. She's already demented and everybody knows it. And everybody's whenever people think of like old decrepit senators who stayed on way too late, it's gonna be her. She's ruined her legacy already. She had the opportunity to retire with dignity a long time ago. By the way, she's mind-bogglingly rich. Her husband is a hedge funder who died. She's got hundreds of millions of dollars. She's fucking scum. Concerns about Feinstein's ability to hold her job have followed her for years and intensified in 2020 when a series of accounts circulated about her performance. The attention 2 years ago was focused on the possibility that she would become chair of the Judiciary Committee under President Biden. She defended her abilities at the time. I don't feel my cognitive abilities have diminished. Do I forget something sometimes? Quite possibly. She's so demented she forgets when she forgets. Better a liberal corpse than an active leftist. Yeah, you got it. She had responding to a December 2020 New Yorker story that reported Feinstein was seriously struggling with memory loss. The article said that Senate Democratic Majority Leader Chuck Schumer had to tell Feinstein more than once that she needed to give up the Judiciary Committee leadership post because she didn't remember he had already told her. A month prior, she repeated a question to a witness, word for word, in a hearing that seemingly no awareness of having done so. And she shocked colleagues at the end of the contentious Supreme Court hearing for Amy Coney Barrett by unexpectedly praising Republicans for having conducted a great process. In fact, the GOP Senate campaign tweeted her praising them. They appointed Amy Coney Barrett 8 days before the election after holding open the Merrick Garland nomination for over 300 days. This has been one of the best sets of hearings I've participated in. I want to thank you for your fairness. The Democrats were trying to make that a campaign issue at the time. Did we have votes for Garland? I'm so tired of hearing this cuck theory. I mean, 3 senators just voted for Jackson, right? A Republican. So there was probably enough moderate votes. Let's see, 2015 U.S. Senate, 54 Republicans in the Senate. So maybe he didn't have it, but it would have been close. Feinstein argues with kids. Yeah, we watched that already, bro. We already watched that already. She rarely engages with the public outside her official duties as a member of Senate committees, nor does she do extended sit-down interviews with the media. She does field questions for the press in the Senate hallways, but often responds by saying she doesn't know enough to comment or gives non-specific responses. She has not held a town hall since 2017, 5 years ago, dude. And she has not held any local events this year. Every other member of the Bay Area congressional delegation has held at least 2 town halls and/or local events this year, and several have done far more. By contrast, Patilla, who's up for re-election this year, has participated in 18 town halls in 2021, and he did 250 media interviews. He held 2 town halls in February, 2 in Sacramento and 2 in San Francisco. Berkeley Institute of Governmental Studies and Los Angeles Times released a poll found that 9% of California voters strongly approved of her job performance, and 21% somewhat approved. 9%? But there are signs of her struggles. Feinstein has at least 1 staff member with her at essentially all times in the Capitol, and staff members guide the Senate to an extent far beyond her colleagues. The Judiciary Committee voted on an antitrust bill that would bar giant tech platforms like Google and Amazon from favoring their own products over third parties on their sites. Feinstein delivered a statement critical of the bill and expressed concerns about its targeting of California-based companies like Google, putting her at odds with most Democrats in the committee. Discussion of the bill and debate over its amendments lasted 2.5 hours. Feinstein struggled when pressed by Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota. Klobuchar asked Feinstein about a line in her remarks asserting that the government agencies opposed the bill. Are you implying, Senator Feinstein, that the U.S. government, that the administration is against this bill? I do not know. What I said is I am told that federal agencies have concerns about the bill, Feinstein said. 12 days later, on February 1st, the Chronicle asked Feinstein, as she walked through the Capitol, to explain her views on the bill. I just don't know what it does, candidly. I have to look at it. What antitrust legislation are you talking about? What bill? When the Chronicle specified it was the bill the committee had marked up 2 weeks prior, Feinstein gestured toward her staff member and indicated he would follow up on it. Let me look at it, and then we'll talk. During that January 20 hearing and during Times' February 3rd hearing for a similar bill to loosen phone makers' control over app purchases, a staff member hovered at Feinstein's right hand during every roll call, sitting down once she had cast her vote. Several times, the staff member engaged in a lengthy conversation with Feinstein. In December, Feinstein missed a hearing for a California judicial nominee and instead submitted a written statement, an unusual move for a home state senator. Feinstein was president of the Senate that day, according to voting records. Her office did not explain the absence in response to Chronicle inquiries. 2 senators who have served with Feinstein for years said they believe she does not always recognize them. They said they get the sense that Feinstein realizes she knows them, but isn't able to quickly recall their name or home state. One Senate staffer said they'd seen their boss on few occasions greet Feinstein in hallways with a preemptive self-introduction. Staff turnover has increased at her office in recent years, with more departures from her office each year since 2017, according to congressional tracking service Legistorm. One top Democratic fundraiser who lives in the Bay Area said Feinstein's fundraising operation has virtually shut down. She raised $55,666 last year, according to campaign filings, an extremely small amount for such a prominent politician. What? She isn't even raising money? She's a senator! That's like one of their main jobs, is to raise money and parcel it out to help their own party. An extremely small amount for such a prominent politician. Powerful lawmakers often fundraise for the benefit of the party and their colleagues, even if they do not plan to run again. The 82-year-old Leahy, who is retiring this year from Vermont, one of the smallest states in the country, by the way, raised $1 million. Several people were alarmed by Feinstein's performance at the memorial service last June for former Port of San Francisco Commissioner Annie Halstead, the first woman to serve on the city's port commission, whom the senator had known for decades. Feinstein didn't mention Halstead in her initial remarks, but offered generic comments about San Francisco, gave shout-outs to people in the audience, including Pelosi, whom Feinstein described as the Democratic leader in the United States Senate. Moments later, Feinstein backtracked, joking to Pelosi, "Nancy, I promoted you to the Senate." The audience laughed. Some were uncomfortable with what they saw. After Feinstein sat down, it was clear that she didn't say anything about Annie. There was a ripple through the crowd, said one person in the audience who had known Feinstein for decades and was granted anonymity to be able to speak freely about the incident because they continued to work with Bay Area officials. Feinstein later returned to the podium and spoke about Halstead and said she was told by her staff that she needed to speak again. She spoke about Halstead in present tense, according to another video provided to the Chronicle. It was quite disconcerting, said the person who attended the event. It's clear she's really over the line. Have you considered that you're not only ageist but sexist? Senators in their 80s. What the fuck? What the fuck? Feinstein former staffers described an environment in which it was challenging to get things done due to her frequent inability to recall previous conversations or follow complicated discussions. One former staffer said they would have conversations about sending a letter out, and the next day Feinstein would not remember the conversation. In one instance, the former staffer recalled that wanted Feinstein to sign up on something that would have advanced an important investigation, but Feinstein repeatedly said she could not understand why the investigative step was necessary. An explanation the staffer said they felt was a result of Feinstein not being able to follow the thread of the investigation. It's really hard to have a micromanager who is not fully remembering everything that we've talked about. My biggest concern is that it's a real disservice to the people of California. Oh my God! This is a career-risking conversation for the staffer, and they're doing it anyway. The lawmaker who had hours-long interaction with Feinstein referenced a class and fable in which people are free to speak the truth to a powerful leader. We've got an emperor's new clothes problem here. Holy fucking hell, dude. Holy fucking hell, dude. Well, I wanted to watch this video because I heard it was fucking funny. Boris Johnson went to Kiev. Let's check this out. Lead hacks, Basement Hippo, and Cape Cod Communist. Cape Codimist. Thank you for the gifting the sub as well. See, look at that, chat. Cape Communist is paying for the gift sub they got from Roundbrow. Do you see how that works? Do you see it? We're proven right again. All right. Boris Johnson in Ukraine. Let's check this out.
Not stand, okay? Especially when the number one Oibrov, Boris Johnson, bravely and boldly went to Kiev. He put his life on the line to talk to President Zelensky personally. That's right. The Ottoman-blooded Anglo-Saxon is inside of the borders of Ukraine as of today. Yes, that's right. He's there. He's going to end the conflict personally. Here it is. Perfect. Our boy. Our big, beautiful yellow ape, Boris Johnson, is in, like I've said, in Kiev, and he's being welcomed by Volodymyr Zelensky. Very nice. Boris is on the job. He's looking in tip-top shape. He's got his Heelys on, and he's ready to do diplomacy. Very nice. Let's see what he had to say.
How are you? How are you? You know how are you? Nice to see you. Very, very, very glad to see you.
You know how I am. How are you? Oh, great, dude. Just every day, there are more civilian casualties that we try to calculate in open pits as we overtake territories that were previously conquered by Russian forces that are now withdrawing. You know, it's pretty good. It's awesome. As good as you can be in that situation. Pretty awesome. He is such a ape, dude. I swear to God. Oh, God, I love him. I
love that Boris Johnson is Turkish. It's like The folly of Gallipoli is now coming home.
What is up with I don't know what it is. I just have a personal fascination with conservatives. I just think they're great, no matter what. He's such a orangutan. Orangutan? Whatever.
You're looking good. Oh, it's an absolute pleasure to see you.
By the way, I sound exactly the same as Boris Johnson. Anyone who said that my Boris is bad is fucking wrong, okay? Absolutely. Very nice, yes.
You're looking well.
Yes.
Unbelievable considering what you've been through. You are strong.
Can we get some copiums in the chat? By the way, chat, 2 minutes left on the hype train. If you want to throw a few dollars to keep it going, it would be very much appreciated. You can support that stream. Help me get back to that elusive 4,000 sub point number. I'd greatly appreciate it. Ollie Mercer, thanks to the tier 3, brother. Hell yeah.
Fantastic. You were looking absolutely fantastic.
It's Mr. Murphy. Thank you for the 10 gifties. Yes. Yes.
Great. Short notice.
What the fuck is he doing? Like, why is he there? I don't understand what he's doing
His
there.
suit.
I just.
What is it with people in suits not fitting now? Is it like suits are not supposed to fit anymore? Like, these are expensive ass suits these fuckers wear. How come none of them fit? Not chill. Thanks for the 1,000 bits, man. Mad Maple Syrup, thanks for the give this up. Like, what the fuck is this? These fuckers pay $5,000 for a suit and it looks like shit.
It just came out of literally nowhere. Even the Ukrainian, like, all the Ukrainian side propaganda, or like all the fucking Ukrainian news media that like normally have information before anyone else was like, what the fuck is Boris Johnson doing in Kyiv right now? No one saw this coming. Absolutely zero people saw this coming. I have no fucking idea where this came from. He's telling him not to join the EU. Been there, done that. Yeah, it's pretty funny for him to be like, yes, we are going to give you security assurances by joining the European Union, which is, of course, how I won my election by getting out of the EU, which is bad, but good for you, bad for us. British sovereignty and the like. Big drama in his cabinet at the moment. He's the PR. Also, I just want you guys to understand once again the lack of
I hate Elon Musk. Cosmos, thanks to the tier 1. I'm sorry, I prepared for the next thing.
Interest in Ukraine is apparent in this circumstance because this is what it is for the West, okay? This is what it is. It's an opportunity to do PR, okay? Boris Johnson is like, yeah, we will not give you security assurances that you have asked in your negotiation process, but also we're just going to, I'm trying to do my best to recover from the intra-party, the internal party politics that is going on in my country as the Tories are exploding. Doesn't matter because what the fuck is Starmer gonna do? He's awful. The Labour Party is dog shit now, okay? So it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, the Labour Party went from being one of the most exciting parties in the world to just the Western world, chat, don't get excited, to just fucking worthless, man. Just completely useless.
Boris Johnson could literally throw a bunga party with all the lords and all the fucking pedophile Tories in the middle of the halls of Congress, okay, in the halls of Parliament, and there is no alternative. There's no alternative anyway.
Starmer is literally going to try to pull the Biden program, which is, I'm not Boris. And he'll spend half his time punching left and the other half of the time saying he's not Boris. That's it.
He did throw a party, but he didn't, as far as I know, there were no children involved, okay? Boris Johnson walking the streets of Kyiv, okay, I love that. But again, it's just purely a opportunity to do PR for himself, not PR for Ukraine. There's not assurances for Ukraine. Maybe they'll talk about it. Labour are probably at their most electable since Blair, to be honest. Okay, well, Starmer's Labour Party is fucking dog shit. Let's be real, okay? He's awful.
How are you? How are you? Yes, don't begin. My dog. Yeah.
What the fuck's he doing? It's a flex. So this is a flex for the record. For those of you who don't know, this is actually a staple of I guess like anti-imperialist nations or nations that are like standing against American power will regularly do shit like this. It's a flex to show like we are not afraid. They'll do it in Venezuela usually. They'll do it in. It's to show that like they are not fearful of any sort of elements within their own country that can like snipe them or something. And it's in the same vein here, like being able to walk freely in the streets of Kyiv while the country is under bombardment is to show like, you know, we're not afraid of Russian snipers or anything like that. You know, this entire area is covered. This entire area is protected. Look at that. That's what it is. Assad does this shit all the time too. Yeah. Turkey does this shit too. Americans are probably the only country that doesn't do this, which is ironic because they're the only country that usually successfully pulls off these assassination attempts on their own and in other nations, but definitely on their own leaders as well as other nations, perhaps even less successfully on other nations, but definitely more successfully on their own. Anyway.
Well, we have an imperial president. So like he's got his own Praetorian Guard and you know, he's not a mere peasant, okay? He's not a citizen. He's not the first among equals. He is a fucking like god king above the law. He's an emperor. So yeah, the emperor doesn't mix with the sheep. The wolf doesn't mix with the sheep, folks. Hope of Clowntown, thanks for gifting or subscribing for 11 months and not chill, man. Seriously, thank you.
Anyway, let's continue. Maybe that's the reason why they don't do this. But yeah, American leaders are the only leaders that don't do shit like this. No, guys. No, like Obama did this. Fucking Donald Trump did this too. They do similar things, but very, very limited. I'm talking about this is a wide open space, brother, in the middle of a fucking war, in the middle of a battlefield. When I'm talking about Venezuela or Syria or all these other fucking nations, I'm talking about like them going into conflict zones and flexing personally. Americans only do this in like their own backyard outside of the fucking, outside of DC or outside of the White House. That's entirely separate than like literally doing it in Kyiv while the country is under bombardment by an imperial force. It's to show like how dangerous it is, but how not dangerous it is, like how much power they have and how much basically just saying like, I do not fear the enemy. I think part of the reason why Boris had to also go is because like I forget about the UK a lot. Sorry, Oibrovs. They're not EU anymore, so I think like he has to offer separate assurances, you know what I mean? I think that's why he had to go personally. Like usually you could just like send EU delegation and yeah, you're fine. You're like, hey, this is us. Like, look, all of our guys are here, you know, we care about you, you know? But now Boris has to kind of do it separately because Brexit means Brexit, you know? Brexit means Brexit, bro. It's also because he's clinging on the power currently and needs a boost in support. Yeah. He's probably thinking like, oh man, it'd be real nice if, you know, someone fired, you know, in my vicinity. I don't know. Maybe we should get this SAS. Maybe we should get MI6 on the job. Get MI6 on the line, you know, do a quick firing in my vicinity. This would be good. Be very good public relations for back home. Very nice. The SAS, bruv. Maybe we need the SAS out here, bruv. Or the MI6. The MI6, bruv. Bro, Twitter video quality is so bad, dude. Yo, Elon, fix.
Someone showed me a Twitter video yesterday, and I actually got mad. I was like, don't show me that shit. Don't you dare show me that fucking shit. I was like, there's 5 fucking pixels. Get me another video.
This shit, dumbass. What is this? What the fuck
Empty null void. Thank you for the 14 months. I don't know why it triggered me, but it was like also, was it like 5 pixels, but also like shrunk in, you know? And sometimes when people make Twitter videos, they kind of like shrink them down a little bit. And there's like a big black box around. There's a big letter box around it. It was that, but also like no pixels. And I was like, oh, no, not acceptable. Not acceptable.
Is this, bro? Like I can't even tell how disheveled Boris looks from walking around for this long. Okay, he's getting a lot of action in. He's walking around, very good, very nice. I'm getting my 10,000 steps in. That's what they say.
Я купила для друзей из Польши вот таких петушков. Они были на
Oh, look at these cocks! It's like it's bringing me back to my favorite team, Tottenham Hotspurs. Very nice, very cool.
На шкафчике стояли вот такие вот петушки остались. Да, я хотела бы их подарить.
I'm from London.
No! Oh no! What? Yep. I was not expecting that, dude. What? That was perfect. I'm from London. What the fuck? This is why I love dude, you gotta this is a Brandon moment, okay? This is a designated, certified Brandon-ass moment right there, okay?
I'm from London.
No, I'm from Kharkiv.
I'm from London. No, dude, come on.
I'm from London.
Is she giving him a black cock? Is that the gift?
Oh, that's
Is that what it is? A
awesome,
Black Hawk
dude.
statue?
Yo, come on. Oh my God. He's so
Like,
fucking
what
stupid,
is this?
dude.
What does it mean? Does it
He's
mean
awesome.
something?
Oh man, that's what happens when you
Is
let
that
a
like the-
Turkish
the-
man. That's what happens when you let an Ottoman man control your country. Okay, Turks know. Okay, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Turks know. This is the English Recep Tayyip Erdogan right here. You know this. His bumbling persona is all an act. This guy's a master manipulator, legit. I mean, I think he's a classic male manipulator. I think he's a fuck.
Oh, come on, man. They're not playing three-dimensional chess. Stop it. Stop it. The only people playing three-dimensional chess are like running the media empires and shit. You know, it's the billionaires behind the scenes and their flunkies. Bojo Candy,
Fucking idiot. It's not like Donald Trump. He's in the same vein where like I think that he probably tries to come across more personable, but he's also like kind of a dummy. There's a lot of leaders like this, historically speaking. Donald Trump being a great example of this. Boris literally burned 50-pound notes in front of the homeless in his Tory school. That is the least surprising thing I've ever heard about him. He's a typical elitist, disgusting Tory dipshit. Okay, he is everything. Like, there's a difference. Like in America. Okay, in America, our elite on the Republican side try to go like all yee with it. Like they're like, I'm salt of the earth, brother. It's like, bro, you literally went to Harvard. Shut the fuck up. Like they wear snakeskin boots and act like they're a part of like the American working class. I feel like Tories don't even hide their disdain for the poor. Like they're just like, you're no different. You're like you're white, but you might as well be Roma. You might as well be Romani. I do not care for you. Like, you know what I mean? Like we have here in America, we have like the Tucker Carlson attitude where people will act like they care about the working class, whereas I feel like the British Tories, like they love that elitist shit. Yeah, Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Well, right. They never really see. They didn't do what the French did. The French killed their nobles, or at least intimidated them. So the French, it's not fucking obnoxious. But the Brits, they still have those guys. They give these chinless fucks seats in the House of Lords and shit. All those feudal families still have all the money. Most of the land is owned by a few families in the UK. It's the same shit, just painted over with a veneer of meritocracy because they claim to have a liberal democracy, which they, of course, do not.
Very nice.
Why?
Yes.
Because you can't have a democracy.
Boris went to Oxford.
Liberal.
Yeah, except he fucking flexes that shit all the time. What do you mean? He's the closest to like
Trump went to an Ivy League school too. They bought in with money. Chatter.
To the earth Tory as you can get, and even then he talks about like Homer's Odyssey. Yes, very nice, all the fucking time. European elitists are very, very different than the American elite. The American elite try to like LARP as working class citizens. These guys don't even hide it. They just straight up are like, I hate the pool. I would melt the pool. Yes, social housing, council housing needs to be abolished, and the NHS needs to be privatized. All British Tories care about is disdain for the poor, disdain for the working class, eat hot chip, do pedophilia, and lie. Okay, that's all they fucking care about. Him and Cameron were in a Bullington club. That's where Cameron shagged the pig. Shagged the pig, bro.
Oh yeah. David Cameron, the former conservative leader before Theresa May, stuck his dick in a dead pig's mouth.
That's what David Cameron fucked a pig, bruv. He shagged it up good, bruv. He gave it a fucking meat shanking, yeah? Gave that pig a proper meat shanking. He's a pig shagger. Simple as. It was the mouth, bruv. He's different. He's just a piggy mouth. They pretend they're not pedos. It's insane. Do they? Do they even pretend that they're not pedophiles? I feel like they don't pretend. I don't know if they pretend that they're not pedophiles. I feel like it's something that they just would rather not talk about, but do their bunga parties.
It's called pig
behind
gate,
closed
chat.
doors, you know? They don't even eat hot chip, actually. Yeah, they do. They eat plain spiceless chip. The correct term is nonce. Yeah, you're right. So Boris went there. That was a fun little trip for Boris. Don't let any opportunity go to waste. You know what I'm saying? If you're Boris Johnson.
All right, chat. Okay.